Thank you for joining us for a special KBRFradio.com video streaming production. Tonight's game is proudly brought to you by Otter Tail Power Company and your Otter Tail Power Company pregame show. Park Region and your Park Region scoreboard. Minnesota Motor Company and your Minnesota Motor Company halftime show. Lake Region Healthcare and your Lake Region Healthcare timeouts. Ugstead Plumbing and Heating with your game time and temperature. Viking Cafe and Fergus Falls Apothecary with your keys to the game. Olson Oil Card Express and your Olson Oil Card Express postgame show. Quality Toyota and your Quality Toyota player of the game. Nelson Auto Center and your Nelson starting lineups. Otter Tail County AIS Task Force. Liberty Business Systems. Service Food of Fergus Falls Monument. Orthopedic Sports and Physical Therapy Incorporated. Otter Tail Coaches and FM Bank of Fergus Falls.
And it's a 1-2 count. On the mound is Bianca Thole for Detroit Lakes, and her pitch is high, and it is 2 balls and 2 strikes. And we'll get to our Nelson Auto Center starting lineups here in just a bit. There's a slow roller down the third baseline, picked up, thrown across the way, and safe at first, unable to scoop it out of the dirt. The Lakers. The first baseman, and this time it's Amelia May. She pitched the first game, and that was a tough one. We'll give Sophie a leadoff infield single on that one. And Shelby Eckhoff to the plate for the Otters with a runner on and nobody out. That one's high, and it's 1-0. Shelby was our quality player of the game in Game 1. He was 1 for 2 with a walk, a couple runs scored. Otters lost Game 1 to Detroit Lakes 20-4 in 5 innings. Shelby swings and misses at that one, and it's 1-1. So 1-1. I'm trying to keep filling out my scorecard after the quick turnover with getting the lineups and trying to get everything in here. She takes it at the knees, and it is 1 ball and 2 strikes. And here's the pitch from Thole. Swing and a miss, and Eckhoff goes down swinging. So Shelby Eckhoff strikes out swinging, first out of the game. And that'll bring up first baseman Carlana Zita for the Otters. And Carlana fouls that one off out of play. Zita was 1 for 3 in the first game for Fergus Falls. Otters were competitive in the first game. It was 7-4 after 4, and then it was just a massive avalanche of runs for the Lakers, 13 runs in the 7th. There's a ground ball up the middle. It is off the glove of the Lakers shortstop into center field, and that'll be an error on the shortstop. Otters will have first and third here with only 1 out. The shortstop for Detroit Lakes, Caden Johnson, couldn't quite make the play. And Otters have a threat going here, first and third. And Kendall Hansen is at the plate. She takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Full ready to go here for Detroit Lakes, and that is chopped foul, bounced off the plate. And it'll be no balls and 2 strikes. Otters trying to draw some blood here in the top of the first. 0-2 and the pitch. And there's a soft liner into left field that finds the grass and a base hit. And Fergus Falls is on the board with an RBI single for Kendall Hansen. As Sophie Lee comes around to score. Zita on to second. And Carly Peterson, the third baseman, comes to the plate for Fergus Falls. Otters take the early lead, 1-0. And there's a high fly ball towards left center field, backing up and making the play and putting it away for Detroit Lakes. And making the play was Audrey Hookgrabber. She played first base in the last game, but she's out in left field this game. And that'll be the second out of the inning. So first and second. And the first pitch is inside to Izzy Landberg, the shortstop. And it's 1-0 to Izzy Landberg. Mackenzie Whitney is on deck. And that pitch fouled back right next to us into the fencing, about 5 feet to the right. In fact, probably came at our live stream there behind home plate. Got a good view here behind home plate. And here's the 1-1 pitch. That's low. It's in the dirt. That's going to allow the runners to advance. On the wild pitch, Zita goes to third. Hansen goes to second. Otters got a chance to put up 2-3 runs here in this inning. They can get a hit here. It's 2-1 to Landberg. Top of the first, 1-0. Otters with the lead, and that's in there for a strike. Evens the count at 2-2. So 2-2, 2 out. Top of the first, and the pitch, that's high. And that'll bring the count full at 3-2. Second and third, 2 out, top of the first. Otters have a run in. And here's the full count pitch. Swing and a miss, and Landberg couldn't catch up with that. Swings and misses, strike 3 to end the inning. Otters get a run on 2 hits. 1 error, and 2 left on base. Otters pick up a run, and Detroit Lakes coming up here in the bottom of the first. 1-0 is our score. Let's do our Nelson Auto Center. Starting lineups here rather than go to our traditional timeout for the Otters. Sophie Lee batting first, the designated player. Batting second, we saw some of these players come up already. Second baseman Shelby Eckhoff. Batting third, the first baseman, Carlana Zita. Batting fourth, center fielder Kendall Hansen. Batting fifth, the third baseman, Carly Peterson. Batting sixth, the shortstop, Izzy Landberg. Batting seventh, left fielder Mackenzie Whitney. Batting eighth, the right fielder Danica Funkhauser. And batting ninth, the catcher Avery Oren. And seventh grader Hallie Price will be the starting pitcher for Fergus Falls in this game. And then for Detroit Lakes, leading off, catcher Shelby Lyman. Then the center fielder, batting second, Bryn Erickson. Batting third, shortstop Caden Johnson. Batting fourth, designated player Aaliyah Chilton. Batting fifth, left fielder Audrey Hookgrabber. Batting sixth, the third baseman Emily Peterson. Batting seventh, second baseman Hallie Johnson. Batting eighth, the first baseman Amelia May. And batting ninth, the right fielder Kai Stouts. And it's Bianca Thole who started that first inning for Detroit Lakes. And that is our starting lineups, brought to you by Nelson Auto Center on Highway 210 West in Fergus Falls.
51 degrees.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. It's time for Ugsted Plumbing and Heating time and temp. We've upped the temperature a few ticks from the first game. We're up to 51 degrees here on a breezy afternoon here in Fergus Falls. The time is 6:14. That's our Ugsted Plumbing and Heating time and temp. The keys to the game, sponsored by the Viking Cafe and Fergus Falls Apothecary. And you look at the first game, Otters made some good defensive plays, but they struggled to give a lot of free passes to Detroit Lakes in the game. A lot of wild pitches that moved the runners along, and then that all culminated in a huge fifth inning. And I think the key is going to be to limit some of those free passes for the Otters, for Detroit Lakes in this one, and try stay in the game. And get the bats going a little bit more. Those are keys to the game, sponsored by the Viking Cafe and Fergus Falls Apothecary. So good look. Hallie Price, seventh grader on the mound for Fergus Falls. And we got a 1-1 count here at Detroit Lakes. And that one's outside, and it's 2-1. And leading off for Detroit Lakes is Shelby Lyman, the catcher. And it's a 2-1 count. Price, and the pitch is high. And it's now 3-1. On deck is Bryn Erickson for Detroit Lakes. And Price with the delivery. And that is just outside, and that'll be a leadoff walk. So Otters hoping it's not a trend from the previous game. A lot of leadoff walks, and Shelby Lyman starts off the inning with a leadoff walk. And now Bryn Erickson at the plate for Detroit Lakes. That one's in for a strike. Bryn Erickson, she played left field in the first game. She's now the center fielder in this game. Batting second, that pitch is high. And it's now a ball and a strike to Bryn Erickson. Runner at first, nobody out here, bottom of the first, and then he lays down a bunt, but it's bunted foul. And that'll bring the count to 1-2. Otters got a run in the first inning on an RBI single by Kendall Hansen. And here's the 1-2 pitch from Price. And swing and a miss. The ball gets away. That'll be a strikeout. But now moving, trying to get to second. A little bit of confusion, but getting all the way to second will be the runner, Shelby Lyman. But a strikeout. Caden Johnson, Bryn Erickson goes down swinging. Otters get their first out. Yeah, the ball was it was swung and missed by Erickson. The ball was dropped by the Otters catcher as the first pitch by Johnson is fouled off. But it was dropped by Avery Elwern for a moment. There was confusion. With the strikeout, they threw to first, got the out, and the runner advanced to second after a little bit of confusion. So runner at second, one out, and the pitch from Price is high, and it is 2-0. Otters lead at 1-0 here on our Park Region scoreboard. And it is Caden Johnson, shortstop, at the plate for Detroit Lakes. There's a swing, fouls it back into the fencing. And it's 1-2. Aaliyah Chilton is on deck for Detroit Lakes, the cleanup batter. And here's the 1-2 pitch, and that's just a little bit high. And it's 2-2. And the 2-2 pitch, that's up and away, and that gets past Oren, and advancing to third on the wild pitch will be Lyman. So runner at third here now with one out. And at the plate is Caden Johnson. Lakers trying to tie this one up. Otters got one in the top of the first. There's a pitch, ground ball to third. Knocked down by a third baseman, but no play. And the runner at third will hold. And that took kind of a little bit of a bad hop for Carly Peterson. And reaching on the air is Caden Johnson. Tough error, as it was a little bit of a bad hop. And now advancing to second on the low pitch and stealing second base is Caden Johnson. So she steals second, now second and third with one out, 1-0. And the pitch, that's high and outside, and it's 2-0 now to Aaliyah Chilton. So Hallie Price on the mound. And delivers the pitch. That is low, maybe a little bit inside, and it's now 3-0. Audrey Hookgrabber is on deck for Detroit Lakes. Count is at 3-0. And here's the pitch to Chilton, and that is just inside, and that'll be a walk. Chilton will take first base, so the bases are loaded with one out, and it's Audrey Hookgrabber at the line, or at the plate for Detroit Lakes. And the pitch from Price. There's a ground ball to third. Nice scoop. They come to the plate, and they get the force out at the plate. That was really a nice short hop snag there by Carly Peterson. They got the force out at home, and the bases will be loaded with two outs, but really a nice play there by Peterson. It'll be 5-2 on the putout. So Hookgrabber will get to first, and Chilton to second, Johnson to third. And with two outs, bases are loaded, and it's Emily Peterson at the plate, the third baseman for DL. That pitch is just up in the zone a little bit for a ball. So it's 1-0. Big early at bat here in the game. With the bases loaded and 2 outs. Swing and a miss. Good pitch by Price. And it's 1-1. 1-0. Otters with the lead here on our Park Region scoreboard. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Price. That is high. And it is 1-1. Price ready. The bases loaded. And here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. Caught the outside corner there and went after it. Couldn't get a piece of it. It's 1-2 as Price gets ahead in the count. And the pitch, swing. There's a line drive down the left field line, and it is foul. Got a good contact with that one, but ahead of it, got down the left field line, and it is foul. So ready to go here again. I had it at 1-2, but the scoreboard says 2-2. See if the umpire will give us a signal here on the official count or not. So bases loaded, 2 outs. Otters lead 1-0. It is 2-2. So I missed one there. So 2-2 is the count. Here's the pitch for Price, and that bounces. And now the runner's going to try to come in, and the Lakers will score a run on the wild pitch. So coming around to score is Caden Johnson, and that cost the Otters in the first game quite a bit. Some of those wild pitches that eventually came around to score. So it's 1-1. We're all tied up. But Otters can get out of here with minimal damage here. Here's the pitch from Price. There's a fly ball to right field coming in and not losing it in the sun, and it falls in for a hit. It'll be a 2-run single as the ball in right field, and you could see Danica Funkhauser coming in a little bit and hesitating, and you can see she's looking right up into the sun, and it just dropped in front of her. I don't think she saw the ball much at all. An unfortunate break there for the Otters, and that'll be a 2-run double. And now the first pitch gets past Oren and to the backstop. That'll send Peterson to third. So 3-1 now. Detroit Lakes with the lead. They get three 2-out runs, trying to add on to it here with Hallie Johnson at the plate. And that's swing and a miss, but it gets by Oren, and that'll score another run. So those wild pitch scoring runs coming into play big time for Detroit Lakes, getting a lot of their runs today. Game one, in that they got a number of them in game one, a couple of them here, and it's now 4-1 Detroit Lakes with the lead. And now Hallie Johnson, there's no one on base here at this point. She pops it up foul over our heads and out of play. So 1-1 here is the count to Hallie Johnson. Hallie Johnson got on base a lot in the first game for Detroit Lakes, stole a few bases, and she pops it up, little blooping foul ball. No one can get to it in time, and it'll be now 1-2. 1-2 here, the count now. Otters trying to get out of this inning. They trail 4-1 on our Park Region scoreboard. And here's the pitch to Johnson. There's a ground ball too short. Up with it across the diamond, and the Otters get the out. Landberg makes a good play, and that will retire Detroit Lakes here in the first. But they do end up getting 4 runs on 1 hit. And there was 1 error and nobody left on base. We're on to the second inning. It's 4-1 Detroit Lakes with the lead. You're listening to Otter Softball on Channel 977, streaming live on the Fergus Now app.
Welcome to Minnesota Motor Company.
We're proud to be a part of this community.
And proud to be your dealership.
Minnesota Motor.
Serve your family and friends the best. Certified Angus beef from the meat department at Service Food. Special cuts and orders always welcome. Service Food, West Lincoln Avenue, Fergus Falls.
Service food. Serving you best.
At Fergus Falls Monument Company, Ryan and Mike want you to design a personal memorial for your loved one that will fully express your personal sentiment and that of your loved one. Fergus Falls Monument on Pebble Lake Road, online, foreverstonememorials.com.
Back here for the second inning. Otters trailed Detroit Lakes 4-1. 4 2-out runs for DL in the first inning. Otters had a chance to get out of it, couldn't quite get there without some runs coming in, and they find themselves down 4-1. Otters dropped the first game of the doubleheader 20-4 in 5 innings. But at the plate for the Otters and fouling it back is Mackenzie Whitney, and it's now a ball and a strike to Mackenzie Whitney. Senior outfielder, playing left field. And the 1-1 pitch coming from Bianca Thole. And that's swing and a miss, chased one up in the zone. And it's a ball and 2 strikes now to Whitney. Danica Funkhauser on deck for the Otters. And here is the pitch, and that one is low. 2-2 now to Whitney. This game and the Quality Toyota Player of the Game t-shirts are brought to you by Lake Country Graphics. We'll have our Quality Player of the Game and our Olson Oil Card Express post-game show. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Whitney goes down swinging. So that's 3 strikeouts now in the game for Thole. And Danica Funkhauser to the plate, the right fielder. And Danica steps in, swings and misses on one right at the knees, and that is 0-1. So Bianca Thole ready to go. 0-1 pitch. That's in there for a strike. 0-2. So Thole getting a rhythm here going. Otters got some base runners early in the first inning. 3 of their first players got on base. A couple of hits in there, but Thole getting into a little bit more of a rhythm and swing and a miss. Funkhauser chased a high fastball. So that's 3 batters in a row that May has struck out swinging for the Otters. And that'll bring up for Fergus Falls, junior Avery Oren, playing catcher in this one. And she takes the first pitch inside. And it's 1-0. As Thole looks in, winds and delivers. That one is a little bit low as well. And it's 2 balls and no strikes. So 2-0, Otters trying to get some base runners going here, trailing 4-1 in the top of the second inning. That one's high, so Oren ahead in the count. It's 3-0. Season opening contest today. This is game 2 of our doubleheader. Thanks for joining us here on Fergus Now app and channel 977. That one's in for a strike, and it's 3-1. Sophie Lee is on deck for the Otters. She singled and came around to score in the first inning. And here's the pitch. That one's up and away. Otters have a base runner, Avery Oren, with a 2-out walk. And that'll bring the order back around to Sophia Lee. And Lee, we mentioned before, 1 for 1 with a single and a run scored in the first inning. Designated player in this one. Swing and a miss. Got under that one. And it's 0-1. Avery Oren is at first base. Can get that running lead once the ball is released. And there's a swing and a pop-up right side. Running over second baseman and unable to make the play. Goes off the glove of Hallie Johnson, and getting all the way to third base is... Well, now the Lakers throw it to second. Now there's going to coming home play at the plate. Safe. Now the play goes to third. They couldn't handle the play at third. And sliding into third is Sophie Lee. So I got to unpack all that. It was a pop-up to the right, short right field. And Sophie reaches on an error there that should have been caught. It went out of the glove of Lakers second baseman Hallie Johnson. And then the ball was thrown around. Now I better get to the player. Shelby Eckhoff swings and misses at the first pitch. It's now 4-2. And then the runners kept trying to advance, and the Lakers threw it around a couple of times, and there were, because of their throwing it around and at least one error on the play, Otters are able to get a run in. Now Shelby takes the second one in for a strike, so it's 0-2. Owen came around to score for the Otters' second run, and Lee is at third. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Eckhoff. Shelby gets a piece of it, fouls it back out of play. So runner at third, 2 outs. Otters get a 2-out run, want some more here. And it's 0-2 right now to Shelby Eckhoff. Shelby reached base 2 out of 3 times in the first game. Struck out her first time in this one. There's a soft line to right side. That's going to be into the grass for a base hit. There's a big 2-out RBI single for Shelby Eckhoff. She continues her strong play. And coming around to score, Sophie Lee. And the Otters are now down 4-3. And Carlana Zita is at the plate now. She reached on an error in the first. And here's the pitch. And foul tip off the catcher's glove. And Shelby Eckhoff, she was running on the pitch. She'll have to come back to first base. And it's 0-1. So the Otters, well, pretty important. They had their first 2 players strike out to start the second inning, but they've got 2 two-run outs, a walk, some errors, and a big base hit by Shelby Eckhoff. But there's a swing and a miss for Zita, and it's now 0-2. Well, Eckhoff was behind in the count 0-2 and fought off a nice base hit to right field. See if Zita can keep this inning going. Here's the pitch. And yeah, it's strike 3. That was right on the edge of it. Could it be a little high or not? And they got the call and the strikeout looking as Thole strikes out the side here in the second. But Otters, after the first 2 struck out, they were able to manufacture 2 runs on 1 hit and a couple of errors and 1 left on base. We go to the bottom of the second. Detroit Lakes coming up. The Lakers lead it 4-3 on our Park Region scoreboard. Back with more after this.
Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls and Grand Forks is your shopping stop for America's 3 favorite truck brands, Ford, Ram, and GMC. Whether you're towing, hauling, or just enjoying the open road, we have a truck for you. Half, 3/4, and 1 ton. There's a truck for every job. Stop and visit or shop any of our stores at NelsonAutoCenter.com. Nelson Auto Center, Fergus Falls and Grand Forks.
Every team has a home field advantage. Make yours the internet from Park Region. With speeds that keep up with the pace of the game and the reliability to never miss a play, you'll always be connected. Get the internet that's always in your corner. Park Region, your home team's internet advantage.
All right, a good little 2-out rally there for the Otters. Got after 2 out, nobody on, got 2 across in the top of the second. They trail 4-3. This is game 2 of our doubleheader here on Channel 977. Also streaming the games live on the Fergus Now app. And Hallie Price on the mound for the Otters here. And coming up, leading off, is the first baseman, number 13, Amelia May. Amelia made a nice pitching performance in game 1 of the doubleheader, and now she's batting 8th as the first baseman in game 2 of the doubleheader. So here's the pitch from Price, and Hallie gets it right in there for a strike. And it's 0-1 here to Amelia May. And that's swing and a miss. Strike 2. A little bit low and in, and May went after it. A couple of walks in the first inning for Hallie. She had a strikeout. And there's a pitch. That one is low. Knocked off off a home plate and away. But no one on base. 1-2 is the count. here leading off the bottom of the second inning is Amelia May. And Price looks in, and here's the pitch, swing and a miss. Ball gets away from the catcher. You're going to have to hustle over, throw to first, and it's going to be a strikeout, but May is going to reach as the ball got away from Oren. So a strikeout, but a base runner. Price's second strikeout of the game, but no out recorded as the ball a little bit low and got away from Oren. So coming to the plate now is Kai Stouts, right fielder. She nicks it foul behind the plate, and it'll be 0-1. So May at first base. Kai Stouts, the right fielder, the number 9 batter in the Lakers order. And here's the 0-1 pitch. Tries to lay down a bunt, fouls it back against the fencing behind home plate. And it's now 0-2. Back to first base is Amelia May. And Hallie Price ready and delivers. That's low, and the ball gets briefly away from Owen, and hustling down and advancing to second is Amelia May. So May to second base as the count is now 1-2. So 1-2, and here is Hallie Price delivering. There's a grounder right back to pitcher. Price gets it, delivers it to first for the out. So the Otters get the out that they need. Advancing to third is Amelia May. So 1 down, 1-3 on the put out. And that'll bring up Shelby Lyman. Lyman walked in the first inning. She didn't score. She was forced out at home. Gave the Otters a chance to get out of the inning unscathed, but 4 runs did come in after that. Swing and a miss, strike 1. So 0-1 here to Shelby Lyman, the catcher for Detroit Lakes. And that one gets away, and coming in and going to come in and score on the low wild pitch. Coming in to score is Amelia May for Detroit Lakes. So that'll put up another run on the board for DL. And it's now 5-3, the Lakers with the lead. So no runners on base anymore. 1 out, bottom of the second inning. And the 1-1 pitch. A little bit inside, and it's now 2-1. 2-1 to Shelby Lyman. And Hallie Price delivers. That one is high. And that'll bring the count to 3-1. Well, Midwest Printing, your local partner for quality printing. And visit Midwest Printing in Fergus Falls. Thanks to our sponsors. This will be our only games broadcasted here in April, but we'll have some Otter baseball and softball coming up more in the month of May. That one's in for a strike. And now it's a full count at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Shelby Lyman with 1 out and nobody on. And here's the pitch, and that one is high, and that'll be ball 4. Shelby Lyman will take first base. Third walk of the game for Price. And coming to the plate is center fielder Bryn Erickson. Erickson struck out swinging her first time up in the first inning. And Lyman is at first base, and Hallie Price with the pitch takes a bounce, and that's going to allow, and I think we'll give Lyman a stolen base. She was on the move regardless there, and she will advance to second base, but then when it bounced to Avery Owen, there was no chance to get her at that point. But a runner at second now with 1 out, 1-0 to Bryn Erickson, and the pitch, it's low and in, and it's 2-0 now. So Hallie Price, 7th grader. What a good athlete Hallie is. And there's a ground ball to short. Landberg picks it up, across it goes, and the throw is low, and unable to scoop it up is Zita. So that will allow Erickson to get on first on the error. Throwing error, a little bit low, and Lyman advances to third. And still only 1 out, and that'll bring up number 3 batter, Caden Johnson. And Johnson reached on an error, stole a base and score. There's in for a strike now, stealing second. They throw it down, and that's going to allow Now they threw it down to second to try to cut off the runner to second, but immediately when the ball was thrown, racing home was Shelby Lyman. So the double steal is successful and another run in for Detroit Lakes. So it's 6-3 Lakers now. One out, bottom of the second, and it's 0-1. Price pitching and way outside. Good job grabbing that one by Oren to keep that one from going to the backstop, holding Erickson at second base, and it's now 1-1. The Lakers have 2 runs in this second inning, and Price ready. And there's a pitch, hard grounder to second base. Eckhoff up with it, over to first. They get the out. Good job there by Shelby, moving a step or two to her right. As advancing to third base is Erickson. So 2 outs now. And Aaliyah Chilton is at the plate. She walked and came around to score in the first inning. The cleanup hitter, and the pitch is high, and it's 1-0. So Chilton with a 1-0 count. Runner at third. 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. That one is low, gets it away a little bit from Oren, but not far enough for Erickson to try to make a break for home. It's 2-0. The runs in the first inning, I believe, were all unearned anyway. That error in there. Now Chilton was hit right in the helmet. It wasn't a pitch with a lot of velocity, so she is perfectly fine. Just a little stunned there for a moment. But she is hit by a pitch, and Chilton now goes to first. So now we got runners at the corners, and at the plate is Audrey Hookgrabber. She reached on a force out her first time up, and that's in there for a strike. Good start to the at-bat for Hallie Price, getting ahead 0-1. Yeah, Hookgrabber reached and came around to score. She with the bases loaded, grounded to third, and they went from the force at home. And she fouls that one back, so Price is ahead in the count now at 0-2. Yeah, key moment right here. Otters don't want to get down any farther than 3. Chance to get out of the inning here, and ahead in the count 0-2, an opportunity to do just that. Here's the pitch from Price, and there's a fly ball to center field, backing up and making the catch in center field. Good job roaming back to her left is Kendall Hansen. That was a big out for the Otters to get to stay in touch with the Lakers. And the Lakers are retired in the second inning. They got 2 runs, and there were no hits in the inning. And there was 1 error and 2 left on base. So we go to the third inning. It's Detroit Lakes 6 and Fergus Falls 3. This is Otter Softball, streaming on the Fergus Now app and on channel 977.
Light powers your day, and with LEDs, every time you turn on a light, it's a chance to save. See how Otter Tail Power Company can help you save at otpco.com/LED.
What's the record for the biggest walleye? What's the record for the largest goldfish? Wait, what? Never release aquatic animals or plants into our lakes and rivers. Help protect our waters and native species.
It's time to replace your old furnace. That old one has been a drain on your energy bill for far too long. Let Ugstead Plumbing and Heating replace your old inefficient furnace with a new carrier system and help you and your checkbook rest easy. Ugstead Plumbing and Heating, Fergus Falls.
4, but then a massive 5th run outburst by Detroit Lakes. Put up 13 runs in the top of the 5th, and they won at 20-4 in 5 innings. Bianca Thole back out on the mound here for the Lakers. And she's been effective here. The 3 runs that they've scored, that the Otters have scored, they've all been unearned. She has struck out 3, 2 innings, no earned, 3 strikeouts, 2 hits, and a walk. And the Lakers have 3 errors in the game that have led to those unearned runs. And leading off for Fergus Falls will be the center fielder, Kendall Hansen. And Hansen steps in, and there's a little bloop shot that goes right back to the pitcher, and Thole is able to put it away right off the bat. So coming up will be Carly Peterson, number 5 for Fergus Falls. Peterson's 0 for 1. She flew out to left field her first time up. That pitch is low. And it is 1-0. So 1-0 here to Carly Peterson, third baseman for the Otters. 6-3, Detroit Lakes with the lead. That one is high. And Peterson ahead in the count. It's 2-0. On deck for Fergus Falls is Izzy Landberg, the shortstop. And Bianca Thole looks in and comes to the plate, swing and a miss. First strike at the at-bat for Peterson. It's now 2-1. One thing the Lakers have done, too, they've done a good job of getting their leadoff batter on throughout. The Otters have not as much, as that one's inside. 3-1. As this, they got their leadoff batter to start the game. Sophie Lee got a leadoff single, but didn't get their leadoff batter up much in the first game, and the last 2 innings haven't. We'll see if they can get a base runner here. Swing and a miss by Peterson, and that'll bring the count full at 3-2. 1 out. Nobody on base. Detroit Lakes 6, Fergus Falls 3, top of the third, and here is the payoff pitch. That's high, and Otters get their base runner. Carly Peterson gets the walk. Second walk of the game for Bianca Thole. And coming to the plate is shortstop, number 11, Izzy Landberg. And Izzy at the plate and takes a strike, trying to get to second and stealing second base successfully is Carly Peterson. On to second she goes. So runner in scoring position now for Fergus Falls is Carly Peterson. So it's 0-1 to Izzy Landberg. Landberg 0 for 1, struck out swinging in the first. And there's a ground ball, and it gets into the hole in right field. And that's going to be an RBI single, and it gets by the right fielder Stouts. Landberg rounding second. She's on her way to third, and they might send her home. And, yeah, they're going to send her home. And here comes the throw. Safe at home. And it's Landberg with the Little League home run. It'll be a run scored on an error, of course. But one of those, there was a good base hit by Landberg to the right side. And Stouts came in to charge it, and it got by her. And rounding, Landberg came around third. And Otters waved her home, and a play at the plate got under it, and Landberg scores. And the Otters a couple runs, and now they're within just like that, or they're within a run. It's 6-5 on our Park Region scoreboard. And that brings Mackenzie Whitney to the plate. She takes it low. But an RBI single for Landberg, and then on the errors comes all the way around to score 4 errors in the game so far for DL. There's a soft liner, and it's caught by Lakers third baseman Emily Peterson. So Whitney is retired. And 2 outs and nobody on. And Danica Funkhauser to the plate. And that one is up and away. Ball 1. Danica struck out swinging in the second inning in her only at-bat, playing right field for the Otters today. And Bianca Thole are ready to go. Swing and a miss. Strike 1 to Funkhauser. That was that first run scored in the inning was the first earned run of the game for Thole. Swing and a miss. That one got by Funkhauser, and Thole now ahead in the count at 1-2. We're in the top of the third. Detroit Lakes 6, Fergus Falls 5 on our Park Region scoreboard. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Funkhauser didn't catch up to that one, and she strikes out swinging, and that will end the third inning for the Otters. But the Otters get a couple runs in. A walk by Carly Peterson, an RBI single by Izzy Landberg, and then the errors got her all the way around to score. So the Otters put up 2. They trail 6-5. We're going to the Bottom of the third, we'll be back with more Otter softball in just a moment.
Welcome to Minnesota Motor Company.
We're proud to be a part of this community.
And proud to be your dealership.
Minnesota Motor.
Olson Oil Cart Express of Fergus Falls is your one-stop shop. Propane tank refills? Check. Diesel for your trucks? Check. Gas, propane exchange, and bulk delivery? Check, check, and check. Olson Oil Cart Express, supporting Otter sports. The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
All right, back here for the bottom of the third, 6-5, Detroit Lakes. Detroit Lakes here with the lead. I'm trying to quick run through the math here. I don't have an official, like the major leagues, we don't have official scores doing some of this work for us. I don't think any of the runs that Hallie Price has given up have been earned. They've all come in due to the some of the different errors that have been made throughout. Otters have a couple errors. Detroit Lakes has 4 errors. Only one of the Otters' 5 runs are earned runs. I'll take another quick look at that. But leading off here for Detroit Lakes and chopping it foul down the third baseline. It'll be strike 1 to the leadoff batter, Emily Peterson. Peterson doubled and scored in the first inning. And she takes the next one high. Yeah, doubled an RBI in the first inning for Peterson, and it's 1-1 right now to Emily Peterson, third baseman. Hallie Price, impressive 7th grader on the mound. Now she delivers that one high, and it's 2-1. Yeah, Hallie has in the first 2 innings struck out 2, and ready to deliver the 2-1 pitch. That one is up in the zone again, and it is 2-1. Or excuse me, 3-1 is the count. There's a swing and a miss. Took a little bit off of that maybe, and it's now a full count here. It'd be big for the Otters to keep that leadoff runner from getting on base, which the Lakers have done so well throughout both games here. And here's the pitch, swing and a miss. Maybe got her to chase just a hair. And Hallie Price gets a big strikeout to start the third inning, her 3rd strikeout of the game. And Hallie Johnson steps to the plate. And the swing, there's a fly ball to left field. It's deep left field and going back, and it is over the head and bouncing up near the wall. Johnson to second, and she's coming all the way to third. There's going to be a play at third, and she is out at third base. Good job defensively by the Otters on a deep fly ball, and Coach Truittson telling Hallie Johnson, I was holding you. Make sure you're looking and keeping your eye. And Johnson, I don't think she knows that she's out yet. Yep, no, she is out. So it's a double, but out at third base, and a good job by the Otters. It was in left field. Mackenzie Whitney grabbed it, got it to Izzy Landberg, the cut off, and to third base to Carly Peterson, and a great job getting that out. So 2 down and nobody on base, and it's Amelia May. She swings and misses at the first pitch, and it's 0-1. And that one is low, and a ball and a strike now. But man, what a big play to get that second out at third base after Johnson, a fly ball to pretty deep left field, got over the head of Whitney, and they cut her down at third. There's a strike. Price delivers, and she's ahead 1-2. Otters are 1 pitch away from getting out of here with the no runs put up from DL. That's been rare in these two games here so far. And that one is in the dirt, and it's 2-2. The Detroit Lakes, they put up 4 runs in the first inning, and they put up 2 in the second. And that one is low and in. Blowing into May. And it's a full count at 3-2 to first baseman Amelia May. And Price is ready. Here's the pitch. And there it is. Strike three. Amelia May looks at strike three. Good inning for the Otters. A pair of strikeouts for Hallie Price. And she now has 4 strikeouts in the game. And the Otters put up a 0 on the board for Detroit Lakes. That's big. It's 6-5 after 3 innings. Detroit Lakes with the lead. You're listening to Otter Softball, streaming live on the Fergus Now app and on Channel 977.
Hi, I'm Scott DeBrito. I had the privilege of wearing the Otter uniform. Today, I have the privilege of representing FM Bank here in Fergus Falls. Show your Otter pride with our Otter debit card. Stop in and see us or visit our website at mybankfm.com.
What's your number?
I drove 113 miles.
And I drove 124 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota.
Quality Toyota.
Now, that was a nice inning for Fergus Falls as after the Otters got 2 runs in the top of the third, they cut it to 6-5. They put a 0 on the board. A couple strikeouts by Hallie Price, but the big play in the middle of those 2 strikeouts, Hallie Johnson for Detroit Lakes hit a fly ball to deep left over the head of left fielder Mackenzie Whitney. It looked like a double. She tried to stretch it to a triple, and the Otters did a great job delivering the ball to the cutoff at Izzy Landberg, and Landberg got it to Carly Peterson at third base, tagged out Johnson at third. So 6-5, moving in the top of the 4th. Otters at the plate, and taking a strike is catcher Avery Oren, the junior. Avery's walked in the 2nd inning, came around to score. And here's the 0-1 pitch from Bianca Thole. That's low and in the dirt. And it's a ball and a strike. Minnesota Motor, one of our sponsors for the games today. Minnesota Motor has tires, great service. That's Minnesota Motor Company in Fergus Falls. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way. And swing and a miss. Swings through it is Avery Oren. And it's a ball and 2 strikes. Oren, the junior catcher here in this game today. 1-2 pitch, and that is popped down the first baseline, just out of play into the bleachers near the DL dugout. And it'll come back to a ball and 2 strikes to Avery Oren. And Avery takes it up and in. That'll even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, West Central Ag Air, your local Peterson Farms and LG seed supplier, and the right choice to defend your crops. That's West Central Ag Air. 2-2 pitch. There's another one fouled off. That's going to be out of play. Good job by Oren fighting a few off here. And the count stays at 2-2. Oren stepping in, trying to get the Otters a leadoff runner on it. That takes it high. She'll have a chance here. It's a full count, 3-2. 6-5, Detroit Lakes leading on our Park Region scoreboard, top of the 4th here in game 2 of our doubleheader. The 3-2 pitch, swinging a ground ball up the middle. Good snag there by the second baseman on to first. And the out is made. Nice play there by Hallie Johnson. A backhand stab and got it to first. And the Lakers earned that out on a nice play by Johnson. So the leadoff batter Avery Oren is out, 4-3. And now Sophie Lee to the plate. Sophie's scored in both of her plate appearances. 1 for 2, singled in the first, came around to score as she pops it foul. First baseline, diving to get it, unable to quite get there. Good effort by Amelia May, sliding towards the dugout. But it drops foul, 0-1. Sophie, like you said, singled in the first, came around to score, reached on an error in the second, and then also came around to score as well. designated player for Fergus Falls here. And she takes that one just inside, and it's a ball and a strike. Shelby Eckhoff is on deck for the Otters, trailing 6-5 here in the top of the fourth. And here's the pitch, swing and a miss, a little bit behind that one. And it's now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bianca Thole doing a nice job for the Lakers. Only one of the runs are earned. There's a little bloop shot. Diving to get it, unable to quite glove it, is May. A little blooper in foul territory, I should have said right away. And it'll stay 1 and 2. Man, May has given some really good effort going after the ball, laying her body on the line there a little bit. And, man, that would have been a great catch, but couldn't quite stay in her glove. So that keeps Otters alive in this at bat. Here's the pitch, and it's bounces to the plate. And it's now 2 and 2 to Sophie Lee. And now Thole is ready to go. And here it comes. That's high, and it's 3 and 2. So another full count. Otters had a full count with Avery Owen a moment ago. She made good contact, but a nice play by Hallie Johnson to retire her. We'll see if Lee can get on base here. Full count. And here's the pitch. And that's on the outside corner, called strike 3. So Sophie Lee is retired. And that is the 5th strikeout of the game for Bianca Thole. So 2 out, nobody on, and Shelby Eckhoff comes to the plate. And Shelby hits a fly ball to center field. It's deep, backing up, and it's over the head of center fielder Bryn Erickson. Eckhoff to second. She's on her way to third. Here comes the throw over to third. It's over the third baseman heads, goes off the field, or off the fence, but Shelby didn't realize it right away, and she's unable to advance to home. But Shelby Eckhoff with a triple, a 2-out triple, and gives the Otters a chance to tie this thing up here. And at the plate is Carlina Zita. And Shelby Eckhoff continues to have a great first day here as Zita takes the pitch high, and it's 1-0. Tying run here at third base, top of the fourth. Otters trail 6-5. Eckhoff now 2 for 3 in the game. Here's the pitch. Zita swings at a high fastball. Swing and a miss. It's 1-1. Zita is 0 for 2. She reached on an error in the first and struck out looking in the second. And here's the 1-1 pitch. That is just low, and it's 2 balls and a strike to the number 3 batter in the order, Carlina Zita. Shelby Eckhoff is on third, just had a 2-out triple. Otters trying to tie this game up here in the top of the fourth. The pitch to Zita, pop foul over our heads. And out of play. Trying to get a big 2-out hit here to tie this game up. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the Otter first baseman, and the pitch. And that is just a little bit low, a little bit inside, and the count runs full. Kendall Hansen is on deck for Fergus Falls. And Thole, we're ready to go. Here's the full count pitch, and fouled off. Good job by Zita. That was one of those that might have been ball 4, but might have not been too, where it was in between. Hitters got a swing at that, and she fought off a good pitch. And it's a full count. Runner at third, 2 outs, top of the fourth. Otters trail DL 6-5. Here's the pitch, swing, and she got a piece of it. And foul. The foul's right down by the catcher's knees. Nicked it foul, and it's still 3-2. Zita getting to see a lot of pitches here anyway. Maybe that'll help her get one in play for the Otters. The pitch, net, swing and a miss. She goes down swinging. Second strikeout of the inning for Thole. And the Otters come up empty after that 2-out triple by Shelby Eckhoff. So no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. We're on to the bottom of the fourth. The Lakers lead the Otters 6-5, and we'll be back with more after this.
Business systems can be frustrating. Don't take it out on the printer. Let Liberty Business Systems simplify the chaos. With automated printing services and flexible contracts, you'll never feel frustrated or stuck with your business systems. Liberty Business Systems.
Transparent, flexible, fearless.
It's time to replace your old furnace. That old one has been a drain on your energy bill for far too long. Let Otters Plumbing and Heating replace your old inefficient furnace with a new carrier system and help you and your checkbook rest easy. Otters Plumbing and Heating, Fergus Falls.
6-5, Detroit Lakes with the lead. It's the opening day for the Otter softball team. And this is game 2 of our doubleheader. Otters fell to Detroit Lakes 20-4 in 5 innings in game 1. A 13-run the 5th inning did the Otters in a game that was competitive leading up to that. And Detroit Lakes even their record on the year at 1-1. Detroit Lakes had a game against Red Lake Falls last week. They got 1 game in. This is the Otters' first day of action. Happy to be with you here. It's a chilly afternoon, a little breezy, but enjoying a nice sunny start to the season. And Minnesota Motor, one of our sponsors, and at Minnesota Motor Company, they know every decision they make affects every mile you drive. Trust the experts at Minnesota Motor in Fergus Falls. Well, Hallie Price back on the mound. A really nice start for the seventh grader. 3 innings pitched. Of the 6 runs Detroit Lakes has scored, none of them are earned. 4 strikeouts, 2 hits, 3 walks. And leading off for Detroit Lakes is Kai Stouts, the right fielder. And that one is way high. No, wait, we might have do we have a pinch hitter here? Or is it a, we'll check that out here. It looks like a different name on the back of the sweatshirt, and that's up and away. It is now 2-0. Okay, that's Haley Larson is now at the plate for the Lakers. The pitch by Price is just a little high. And it's now 3-0. Been the Achilles heel of the Otters in both these games today is letting the leadoff batter reach a high percentage of the time, and that'll be ball 4. So Larson gets the leadoff walk, and that'll bring up Shelby Lyman, the leadoff hitter for the Lakers. And Lyman has walked twice, stolen a base, and scored once. And now she shows bunt, but it doesn't offer at it, and it's a ball, 1-0. Six to 5. Runner at first, nobody out for Detroit Lakes here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. And here's the pitch from Price, and that is fouled back, maybe a little bit off speed there, fouled back. Looked like Larson was on the move there for Detroit Lakes, but with the foul ball. Goes back to first, and it's 1-1. And Price ready and delivers, squares the bunt, pulls it back. Now the runner going. And the throw down to second is not in time. That'll be a stolen base for Haley Larson. She gets to second base with nobody out, and the count is 2-1. And Lyman, she's not afraid to take a walk. She's walked both times coming up. Now she lays down the bunt, but bunts it foul. So continuing to look for the bunt there, but bunts it foul just down the third baseline. And the count evens at 2-2. So 2-2. And here is the pitch from Price. Check swing, doesn't offer. Now the runner trying to go to third, and the throw over there just safe. That was a close one. The ball got away briefly from Oren. Made a good throw down to third base. Peterson applied the tag just a hair late. So on the wild pitch, Larson gets to third. And nobody out, full count here to Shelby Lyman. And the pitch, swing, and just got a piece of it, fouls back right into the fencing behind home plate. And the count will stay at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Runner at third, nobody out, bottom of the 4th. And here's the full count pitch, and that is high and goes over the fencing, and hustling in and coming in to score on the wild pitch is Larson. So that'll give the Lakers a 7-5 lead. And Shelby Lyman walks for the third consecutive time in this game, in their third 3 at-bats, 3 walks. And that'll bring up Bryn Erickson, center fielder. Hallie Price ready, squares the bunt. The pitch is high. A runner moving to second. They're going to steal second and take second base right away. So the Lakers stealing a lot of bases. I got them now with 4 stolen bases in this game. And a runner at second now with nobody out. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's in the zone. Now there's a ground ball. Landberg up with it. Across to first. They get the out, trying to advance to third, and the ball gets behind the third baseman, and that's going to bring the runner in to score as it got past Carly Peterson, and that error is going to allow Shelby Lyman to come in to score. Second time Shelby Lyman has scored in the game. And it is now 8-5 Detroit Lakes with the lead. And the pitch from Price, and it is chopped behind the plate. Foul by Caden Johnson. So a walk, stolen base, and wild pitch on the next walk allowed a run to score. And then that error allowing Lyman to come in to score to make it 8-5. 1-1 count here now to Caden Johnson, the Laker shortstop. Nobody on base here anymore. And the pitch, swinging a little pop-up to short, and Landberg's under it. She makes the play. A little short pop-up. So it is now 2 out and nobody on. 2 runs in here for Detroit Lakes in the bottom of the 4th, and it's Aaliyah Chilton up. And she has walked and been hit by a pitch and scored in this game. And here's the pitch, and that is just low. And it's 1-0 here to Aaliyah Chilton. Hallie Price, 4 strikeouts here in 3 2/3 innings pitched. She delivers, that's low, and it's 2-0. Hallie has walked 5 in the game, only given up 2 hits. And here's the pitch to Chilton, and that one low, and it bounces, and it does end up hitting Chilton. It was one of those, it literally bounced low. It got away from Hallie and bounced about 6 feet in front of the plate and hit Chilton on the shoe. He probably hardly even felt it, but it is hit batter, and that's the second time she's been hit by a pitch, and she will take first base, and that'll bring up Audrey Hookgrabber, and the pitch is up and away for a ball, 1-0. 8-5, bottom of the 4th inning here. And 2 out. And Price with the pitch. That is high, and it's 2-0. Owen looks down as Chilton getting a pretty big lead off of first base, but gets back, and it's 2-0. Otters trying to keep this where it's at. Don't want to get too much farther behind, trailing 8-5. And there's the pitch, and there's a pop-up right side, and coming under it, Zeta gets there and makes the play, and that will end the inning for Detroit Lakes. They get 2 runs. They had no hits, and there was 1 error and 1 left on base. It is now 8-5 on our Park Region scoreboard. Detroit Lakes leading Fergus Falls. This is Otter Softball on Channel 977 and streaming live on the Fergus Now app.
At American Federal Bank, they're proud sponsors of local high school athletics. From Friday night lights to buzzer-beating shots, these students inspire us all. Just like them, American Federal is here to go the extra mile for you. American Federal Bank, investing in our community, one play at a time. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hi, I'm Jay, owner of Fergus Apothecary, downtown Fergus Falls. We like to talk to you out in the open, not through glass, not through a speaker. We treat you as a person, not as an insurance card. So we invite you to come downtown Fergus Falls and speak with us.
Welcome to Minnesota Motor Company.
We're proud to be a part of this community. and proud to be your dealership.
Minnesota Motor.
Add on to their lead. It's now 8-5 as we come to the top of the 5th inning. Doubleheaders, the home team is in these doubleheaders. The home team is the home team on the scoreboard and the scorebook in the first game, and then they flip in the second game. The Lakers are the home team on the scoreboard, even though we are in Fergus Falls. And so we're in the top of the 5th, and the Otters coming to the plate, trailing DL 8-5. And center fielder Kendall Hansen will lead things off for Fergus Falls. Kendall's 1 for 2, an RBI single in the first, and popped out to the pitcher in the third. And ready to go. Thole with the pitch, and in there on the knees for a strike, and it's 0-1. Bianca Thole, 4 innings pitched. Only 1 of the 5 runs are earned. 6 strikeouts, 4 hits, a pair of walks. Doing a nice job on the mound for the Lakers. That one is high, and it's a ball and a strike. So 1-1 here to Kendall Hansen, top of the 5th inning. And Thole comes to the plate, and there's a ground ball to second. Hallie Johnson charges, picks it up, throws to first, and it is in time. And Kendall Hansen is retired. 1 down here in the top of the 5th. Hallie Johnson's done a nice job. He made a really nice play earlier in the game. Off the bat of Avery Oren to lead off the 4th. It kept the leadoff runner off. Now they're laying down the bunt, but the bunt a little too hard, comes right back to the pitcher. And Thole is able to throw out Carly Peterson. 1-3 on the putout. She saw an opportunity to lay down a bunt and get on base, but the bunt was hit pretty hard and directly right back. Acted almost like a normal ground ball coming back to the pitcher, and Thole was able to throw her out. So 2 quick outs for the Otters. And here's Izzy Landberg, and she fouls it back. Izzy is 1 for 2, struck out in the first, and then she had an RBI single in the third, and on that same play came all the way around to score after that single, after some errors by the Lakers on that play, as she takes it low. So Landberg, she's done some nice things at shortstop too. Some impressive plays at shortstop for the Otters. And it's 1-1 now, the count. And Thole coming to the plate. Ground ball back, and Thole picks it up, scoops it up, and a good defensive inning for Thole. She throws out Landberg, and that's a quick 1-2-3 inning. The Otters go down in the 5th. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. 1-2-3 inning. I think that might have been the first time the Otters have gone down 1-2-3 in either game here. And we go to the bottom of the 5th. The Lakers lead the Otters 8-5 on our Park Region scoreboard. And back with more Otter softball in just a moment.
Fergus Falls Monument Company, Ryan and Mike, want you to design a personal memorial for your loved one that will fully express your personal sentiment and that of your loved one. Fergus Falls Monument on Pebble Lake Road, online, foreverstonememorials.com.
Light powers your day, and with LEDs, every time you turn on a light, it's a chance to save. See how Otter Tail Power Company can help you save at otpco.com/LED.
Make OSPTI your choice for outpatient rehabilitation and sports injuries with locations in Fergus Falls, Breckenridge, and Hankinson. Orthopedic and sports physical therapy is the right choice for your recovery. Live your best life. Trust the experts at OSPTI.
And we are back here to the bottom of the 5th inning. Detroit Lakes leading Fergus Falls in this softball opening day for the Otters. 8-5 is the score on our Park Region scoreboard. Well, this game and the Quality Toyota Player of the Game t-shirts are brought to you by Lake Country Graphics, and we will have our Quality Player of the Game on our Olson Oil Card Express post-game show in just a bit. And Lakers leading off here the 5th inning as they have Emily Peterson at the plate. third baseman. Hallie Price on the mound for the Otters, doing a nice job. Only one of the 8 runs are earned here for on Hallie. And there's a fly ball to short right field. And coming in and making the play, 1 pitch, 1 out. As Danica Funkhauser comes in and makes the play in right field. So Peterson is retired, now 1 for 3 in the game, and Hallie Johnson coming to the plate for Detroit Lakes with 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th, nobody on, and the pitch from Price, and that is low one. She offered at it and was ahead of it, went foul towards the Otter dugout, and it's 0-1. Hallie Johnson, 1 for 2 in the game with a double. There's a pitch, swing and a miss. It's 0-2. Hallie Price was trying to get, she's got 4 strikeouts in the game, looking for number 5 here coming up. And here's the 0-2 pitch. Swing popped up in the infield, coming over Eckhoff and Lindbergh. Eckhoff's going to take it, and there's now 2 down. Good start to the inning here for the Otter pitching and defense. Pop out to second, so 2 outs. And Amelia May coming up for the Lakers. She's 0 for 2. She struck out twice, but she reached it. Well, there's a chopper to short. It goes right under the glove of Landberg, and reaching base on the air will be Amelia May. 4th error of the game for the Otters. So back here after the error and reaching base was May. It'll bring up Haley Larson. And Larson walked and stole a base and scored in the 4th. She came in for Kai Stouts. And 1-0. And the pitch, that one is outside. Thinking about trying to advance to second was May, but comes back to first. And it's 2-0. And here's the pitch. That is in for a strike. Good pitch there by Price. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike to Haley Larson. And that's in there for a strike. So Hallie, after getting down 2-0, gets back in here, and it has the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Otters trying to keep this a 3-run deficit here through 5. And there's the pitch, and strike 3. Hallie Price caught the outside corner, and Larson goes down looking. 5th strikeout of the game for Hallie Price. And Otters had it commit an error in that inning, but come out of it unscathed. No runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 left on base. We're through 5, and it's 8-5. Detroit Lakes on our Park Region scoreboard. Back with more Otter softball in just a moment.
What's your number?
I drove 60 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota. I drove 45 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota.
Quality Toyota.
Serve your family and friends the best. Certified Angus beef from the meat department at Service Food. Special cuts and orders always welcome. Service Food, West Lincoln Avenue, Fergus Falls.
Service Food. Serving you best.
Otter Tail Minn-Dakota Coaches has been the trusted name in transportation for 50 years. Safety, service, and dependability are at the heart of every journey. From local routes to nationwide trips, rely on Otter Tail Coaches for a ride you can trust.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
And 8-5, and Otters trying to get some base runners and get a rally going here. Put some pressure on the Detroit Lakes defense. And leading off is Mackenzie Whitney for Fergus Falls. And here is the pitch, and outside for a ball. It is 1-0. Bianca Thole doing a great job pitching here for Detroit Lakes. 5 innings, 1 earned. He struck out 6, walked 2. There's a blooper left side, but coming in and able to make the play, catching it in the air, is third baseman, Emily Peterson. So Whitney is retired, and coming up for the Otters, there'll be a pinch hitter here for Danica Funkhauser. And it's going to be Alyssa Adams here coming for Fergus Falls. Senior outfielder. So Adams pinch hitting. And steps in here, Stoll to the plate. That one's low. Takes it for a ball. Well, Midwest Printing, your local partner for quality printing. Visit Midwest Printing in Fergus Falls. 1-0 here. Adams at the plate for Fergus Falls, and she takes it for a strike. Yeah, Tholes had good controls. Only walked 2 through these 5 innings. And Adams at the plate. And Oren is on deck. That one is inside, so the count goes to 2-1. So Oren on deck, then the order comes back to the top of the order with Sophie Lee after that if one of either Adams or Oren can reach base. And here's the 2-1 pitch. And that one is up and away, and it's 3-1. So Adams ahead in the count. Opportunity to try to get the Otters a base runner. They need base runners here, trailing by 3 here in the top of the 6th. And the pitch, and that one is popped up behind the home plate. Coming over and making a nice catch is the Detroit Lakes catcher, Shelby Lyman. Yeah, good job. That one went literally straight up in the air, and that was a little tough for a catcher because hard to see something that's maybe right above your head for a moment. Finally, she was able to look up, locate it, and make the catch. So 2 down. And now Avery Oren to the plate. Takes it outside for a ball, 1-0. This game of the Quality Toyota Player of the Game t-shirts are brought to you by Lake Country Graphics, and we'll have our Quality Player of the Game for the Otters after the game in our Olson Oil Card Express post-game show. Another pitch that is high, and it's 2-0 to Avery Oren. So 2 balls and no strikes. Bianca Thole on the mound. She's only walked 2 in the game. And that one does catch the outside corner. And it's 2 balls and a strike. Sophie Lee on deck for Fergus Falls. 8-5 Detroit Lakes leads. This is game 2 of the doubleheader. Lakers won the first one. There's a pitch foul back and out of play. And the count is 2-2. 20-4 was the first game deal, won in 5 innings. 7-4 was the score after 4. But really tough 5th inning for the Otters. 13 runs the DL put across to end that one in 5. Here's the 2-2 pitch. That was inside. And the count goes full. 3-2. Avery Oren. She's 0 for 1 in the game with a walk and a run scored. Grounded out to second in the 4th. Here's the full count pitch. On the way to Oren and chopped foul off the plate behind home plate. And the count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Bianca Thole trying to get through her 6th inning of work. Avery Oren trying to start a rally here for the Otters, a 2-out rally. Here's the pitch, swing, and there's a ground ball to second. Hallie Johnson charges, picks it up, and throws to first. She's been really effective at second base, and Oren has retired a 1-2-3 inning, and in fact, 7 in a row have been retired by Bianca Thole for Detroit Lakes. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. Detroit Lakes leads at 8-5 as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. You're listening to Otter Softball on Channel 977, streaming live on the Fergus Now app.
Welcome to Minnesota Motor Company.
We're proud to be a part of this community.
And proud to be your dealership.
Minnesota Motor.
Hi, I'm Jay, owner of Fergus Apothecary, downtown Fergus Falls. We like to talk to you out in the open, not through glass, not through a speaker. We treat you as a person, not as an insurance card. So we invite you to come downtown Fergus Falls and speak with us.
8-5, the score remains here as we're at bottom of the 6th inning. And the Otters have come up empty here the last 3 innings offensively. After it was 6-5 after 3, and now we go to the bottom of the 6th. And it's 8-5 now, Detroit Lakes. Otters have had offensively, we mentioned before, Bianca Tholl's really gotten on a roll here. She retired the last 7 Otters that have come to the plate, and also there was a triple in there by Shelby Eckhoff, but if before that, Tholl had retired 4 Otters before that, so it's been 11 of 12 sent down by Tholl, and really an excellent pitching performance. Hallie Price has done a nice job for the Otters on the other side, 7th grader. 8 runs given up, but only 1 of those have been earned. 4 errors for each team in this game, and Hallie has 5 strikeouts in 5 innings, 5 walks, a pair of hits given up. It's only 2 hits for Detroit Lakes in this game, but the walks and obviously the errors key on both sides, but especially for those 8 runs the Lakers have gotten. So leading off is the leadoff batter that started off the game for Detroit Lakes. It's the catcher Shelby Lyman. And she has walked every single time, but she takes a strike here, and it's 0-1. So Lyman has 3 of the 5 walks that Hallie has given up, and she's scored twice, and she's stolen second base twice. She behind on that one, and it goes foul over the Detroit Lakes dugout, out of play. So Price gets ahead of Lyman. 0-2 here, starting off the bottom of the 6th inning. Thanks to Minnesota Motor, one of our sponsors. And the pitch that is high and outside. Minnesota Motor, they have trucks. Contact the sales team to get yours today. And if you've ever considered leasing, contact the finance team at Minnesota Motor to see if leasing is right from you. Minnesota Motor in Fergus Falls. Here's the pitch from Price. Off speed, that is high. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. With Lyman leading off the inning. She'd be a nice one to keep off the base paths too, as she's shown to be a threat to steal in the 2-2 pitch, and that one is high as well. And the count moves full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. So after getting ahead 0-2, Lyman has fought back to push the count full. And here's the pitch from Hallie Price, and just a little bit high, and she draws the walk. Man, that was close enough to give me a little bit of pause, but just up in the zone a bit. And that's 4 walks in the game for Shelby Lyman, and I would not be surprised if she's off and running quickly here from first base. As Bryn Erickson to the plate, squares the bunt. There goes Lyman running to second, the throw down to second. And Lundberg was not close to second base, no chance to apply the tag. And that's a 3rd stolen base of the game for Shelby Lyman. And it's 1-0 here now to Bryn Erickson. Bottom of the 6th, nobody out, squares the bunt, and now that gets away from Oren for a moment, and she will hold it, and hustling over to 3rd as the ball got away from her is Lyman. So quickly, Lyman gets the walk. 2 pitches later, she's standing on 3rd. Erickson in the game is 0 for 3. She struck out swinging in the 1st, reached on an error in the 2nd, and grounded out to short in the 4th. And the pitch, that's in there for a strike. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike to Bryn Erickson. Caden Johnson, the shortstop, is on deck. And Hallie Price comes to the plate, and it's low. And it's 3-1 now. Lyman at 3rd base, trying to score her 3rd run of the game. And Hallie Price looks in. Here's the pitch, and that is fouled back and out of play. And that'll bring the count, another full count here. So a lot of pitches here for Hallie. First batter went full. And now another full count here to Bryn Erickson. Runner at 3rd with nobody out. 8-5, Detroit Lakes leading Fergus Falls. Otter softball home opening doubleheader. There's a foul ball right side coming over. Zita makes the catch. Now the runner tagging, trying to come home. Here comes the throw to the plate, and not in time. And coming in to score is Shelby Lyman. Is that a sacrifice fly? I'm not sure on the official score. Maybe Craig, if Craig Olson's listening, as they pop out right side of first base in foul territory, that is caught. And then the runner tags and come home. Is that a sacrifice fly? I think it might be. The run scores, and at the plate, taking it outside is Caden Johnson. It was one of those Zeta ranging over with their back to home plate, and a good decision by Lyman to take off and tag up on it because Zeta was caught by surprise a little bit, but her back was away from home plate. Tough to turn and throw. And Johnson takes it outside, and it's now 2-0. 9-5 now. Detroit Lakes with the lead with that run scored. And swing and a miss by Johnson. And it's 2 balls and a strike. Johnson, the shortstop, 0 for 3, reached on an error and stole a base in the first and came around to score. Grounded out to second in the second and popped out to short in the fourth. 2-1 pitch coming from Price, and that is high. And it'll be 3-1. So 3-1 pitch coming from Hallie Price. That's fouled off. I keep wanting to say into the netting. It's no netting. It's the chain wire fence here goes off of. And now another full count. Third consecutive batter where the count goes full. At the 9-5 game. Here's the pitch and swing and a miss. The ball gets away from Oren. Oh, nope. They're going to say it was a foul tip. So foul tip will keep the count full. Everyone got away from Oren. Everyone was hustling over to try to throw it to first, but umpire called the foul tip. It'll stay at 3-2. Good pitch from Price there. And this one is high and a little bit away, and that'll be a walk. And Caden Johnson gets to first base. 7th walk of the game here in the 6th inning for Hallie Price, only giving up 2 hits. And here's the pitch from Hallie. Chilton is at the plate. Ground ball to short. Lindbergh up with it. Goes to second for 1, and that's all they'll have, but the Otters get the force out. Johnson is retired at second on the force play. So 2 down. And Audrey Hookgrabber comes to the plate, the left fielder for Detroit Lakes. Runner at first, 2 outs. 9-5 DL leads at the bottom of the 6th inning. Big lead from Chilton as Hookgrabber takes the ball. Hookgrabber is 0 for 3. She reached on a force out in the first, came around to score, flew out to center in the second, and popped out to first in the fourth. And the pitch from Price. Low and away, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Leah Chilton is at first base, reached on the force out a moment ago. Otters trying to keep this within 4 to give themselves a chance in the 7th. That's on the inside corner, gets a strike. And it's 2 balls and a strike to Audrey Hookgrabber. Hallie Price. Pitch 5 2/3 inning, done a nice job, the 7th grader, and that pitch is just inside, and it's 3 balls and a strike. Lakers won the first game of this doubleheader, trying to make it a sweep. Otters trying to battle here, stay in this thing, and there's a chopper foul. And yet again, another full count. 4 of the 5 batters have had full count at bats here in this 6th inning, so Hallie getting a lot of pitches in here and trying to get this final out to keep the lead at 4. Here's the pitch, and that is fouled. Good pitch right at the knees, and good job by Hookgrabber fighting it off. Fouls it off behind into the fence, and it is still 3-2. With Chilton at first. And Price comes to the plate, and that one is low in the dirt. Gets away, but Chilton is going to just stay at second. 3rd walk of this 6th inning. We'll put Hookgrabber at first. Chilton moves to second. And 3rd baseman Emily Peterson will come to the plate. We're going to have a pinch runner. And Chilton will come out of the game at second. She's the runner at second. And we'll try to grab the number. It's Kelly Kanoy coming in. There's a fly ball to left field moving over, and a nice running catch in left field. What a nice play by Mackenzie Whitney. A fly ball to left, and Whitney moves to her left and reaches up and makes a big play to keep the Otters within 4. That would have got a couple runs in. And the Otters today, they've had some nice defensive plays throughout. And that's been a bright spot for them today. And that will end the inning where the Lakers pick up an insurance run. They lead it 9-5. They had 1 run, no hits, and no errors, and 2 left on base. On to the 7th inning. Otters have their last chance. They trail Detroit Lakes 9-5. Back with more Otter softball in just a moment.
Serve your family and friends the best. Certified Angus beef from the meat department at Service Food. Special cuts and orders always welcome. Service Food, West Lincoln Avenue, Fergus Falls.
Service Food. Serving you best.
Where to eat, the ultimate culinary adventure, from signature dishes to chef recommendations.
As your food review professionals, you can find us at KBRFradio.com, the Fergus Now app, and on YouTube.
Tune in every first Friday of the month for new episodes.
Check us out, and we'll show you where to eat.
Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls and Grand Forks is your shopping stop for America's 3 favorite truck brands, Ford, Ram, and GMC. Whether you're towing, hauling, or just enjoying the open road, we have a truck for you. Half, 3/4, and 1 ton. There's a truck for every job. Stop and visit or shop any of our stores at NelsonAutoCenter.com. Nelson Auto Center, Fergus Falls and Grand Forks.
Will lead off with their leadoff hitter, Sophie Lee. So Sophia Lee at the plate and takes it up and away, and it's 1-0. Well, if your windshield needs replacing, contact the experts at Minnesota Motor Company. They're located on South Pebble Lake Road in Fergus Falls. Bianca Thole still on the mound, and she's had a great game. She's retired 7 Otters in a row. Otter trying to get something going. Soft liner right to Hallie Johnson, though, makes the play. Good contact there, but Johnson makes the catch. 1 down here in the top of the 7th. 8 in a row retired by Thole, and it's been 12 out of 13 she's sent down. Shelby Eckhoff, she's been the toughest out for the Otters today. She's 2 for 3 in this one with an RBI single and a triple. She fouls that one off, and it's 0-1. So Shelby Eckhoff, second baseman. Couple hits in this one and an RBI. Sophia Lee, also a nice game. Couple runs scored at the top of the order for Fergus Falls. And here's the pitch to Eckhoff. She fouls that one back. And now Thole is ahead, 0-2. Looking for the complete game here. 9-5. DL leads. We're in the top of the 7th. Otters trying to find a way to get at least four runs in. Here's the pitch, and Eckhoff takes that one high. And it's a ball and 2 strikes. Both teams getting pretty excited here. The dugouts cheering on their teams, and there's the pitch low. Bounces off the plate, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. One of our sponsors for the game is West Central Ag Air, your local Peterson Farms and LG seed supplier, and the right choice to defend your crops. That's West Central Ag Air. 2-2. Eckhoff trying to get the Otters a base runner here in the 7th inning. And here's the pitch. That one's high, and the count goes full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Carlana Zita is on deck for Fergus Falls. So full count to Eckhoff. Shelby was down 0-2 in the count. Battled back to get it full. Here's the full count pitch. Swinging a ground ball right side. Johnson charges, picks it up over to first, and not caught by the first baseman. So an error is made there. And getting on first base is Shelby Eckhoff. That'll be an E3 there, although it was a pretty hard throw by second baseman Hallie Johnson from a short distance, but required because Shelby Eckhoff was running quickly down the line. There's a pop-up by Zita coming in, and the ball bounces. It's picked up, though, by first baseman and tags Zita out at first. Man, tough break for the Otters. A kind of a blooping, not a pop-up. It didn't get high to be a pop, like a blooper that went up a little bit in the air, right side, hustling over. Johnson, it came off of Johnson's glove. Didn't make the catch, but it went right to first baseman May, who made the play. There, the right soft liner right side, and coming in to make the catch and end the game and making the play is Haley Larson. So the Otters got a little bit of excitement there in the seventh inning, but unable to come up with any runs, and they fall and are swept in this doubleheader in the second game. 9-5 is the final score. On our Park Region Service Beyond the Connection scoreboard, 9-5 the final. Detroit Lakes wins the first game 20-4, and they win the second one over the Otters 9-5. Detroit Lakes improves to 2-1 on the season. First games of the year for the Otters as they start off their season 0-2 on the year. So we're going to take one more break here, and we'll have our Olson Oil Card Express post-game show, and we'll also name our Fergus Falls Otters Quality Player of the Game, sponsored by Quality Toyota and Lake Country Graphics. 9-5, Otters fall to Detroit Lakes in Game 2 of this doubleheader. Take a break, and we'll be back with our Olson Oil Card Express post-game show right after this.
I'm Tad Butke, your dedicated business sales consultant at Park Region. Whether you're looking to optimize your operations, scale your business, or find tailored solutions, I'm here to help you achieve your goals.
Reach out to Tad today at 218-998-2000 for Park Region to go beyond the connection.
At Fergus Falls Monument Company, Ryan and Mike want you to design a personal memorial for your loved one that will fully express your personal sentiment and that of your loved one. Fergus Falls Monument on Pebble Lake Road, online, foreverstonememorials.com.
Olson Oil Card Express of Fergus Falls is your one-stop shop. Propane tank refills? Check. Diesel for your trucks? Check. Gas, propane exchange, and bulk delivery? Check, check, and check. Olson Oil Card Express, supporting Otter sports.
Welcome to Minnesota Motor Company.
We're proud to be a part of this community.
And proud to be your dealership.
Minnesota Motor.
It's time to replace your old furnace. That old one has been a drain on your energy bill for far too long. Let Otters Plumbing and Heating replace your old inefficient furnace with a new carrier system and help you and your checkbook rest easy. Otters Plumbing and Heating, Fergus Falls.
Yeah, good competitive second game. Otters just couldn't quite get enough going offensively, as Bianca Thole, especially from the fourth inning on, was absolutely outstanding. Couldn't get any runs in the final four innings of the game after Otters were able to get the ball in play at least, and some errors by Detroit Lakes. Only one of the Otters 5 runs was earned. In fact, only 2 of the Detroit Lakes 9 runs were earned on the side with Hallie Price pitching for the Otters. But yeah, it was Bianca Thole who just pitched a great game for Detroit Lakes and had a stretch there where she retired 12 out of 13 batters, and Fergus Falls just couldn't muster enough offense here in the second game, and they fall 9-5. And Otters did get the first run of the game in the first inning. Sophia Lee singled and came around to score. Then the Otters had a chance to get out of the inning in the first inning without any damage, and Detroit Lakes was able to score some unearned runs in a 2-out rally to go up 4-1, and that was where the margin kind of stuck. Fergus Falls got 2 runs in the second inning after and they were all with 2 outs. A walk by Avery Oren. Sophia Lee reached base on an error, and then an RBI single by Shelby Eckhoff, and that made it 4-3 after the top half of the second inning. Then the Lakers picked up 2 again in the bottom of the second inning to make it 6-3. Then in the third, Otters cut it to 1 again as Carly Peterson had a walk, and then Izzy Landberg after a stolen base by Peterson, had an RBI single. The ball got past the Detroit Lakes right fielder, Kai Stouts, and it was kind of like an inside the Little League inside the park homer where she ran around the bases after the error by Stouts came around to score. But that was the last run the Otters were able to get during the game. It was 6-5 at that point. The Lakers added on 2 insurance runs in the 4th and 1 more in the 6th, and it was Bianca Thole. And Hallie Price pitched a very good game for Fergus Falls, kept the Otters in the game, and it was just Thole on the other end that limited the Otters so much from their offense. And Fergus Falls falls 9-5 here in Game 2 of this doubleheader. So let's name our quality player of the game, sponsored by Quality Toyota and Lake Country Graphics. For screen printing and embroidery on custom apparel with the best in personal service around, contact Lake Country Graphics at 1223 North Union Avenue in Fergus Falls. Call 998-4027. That's 998-4027. I just mentioned Hallie Price. We're going to go with the 7th grade pitcher, Hallie Price, with our quality player of the game. And I thought she really did a good job. She only gave up 2 hits in her 6 innings of work. There were eight walks that were scattered throughout, but only 2 of the 9 runs at Detroit Lakes, under my maybe not perfect official scoring, but I accounted for only 2 of the 9 runs were earned runs. So 4 Otter errors were costly that allowed a lot of the Lakers runs to come around. And Hallie coming in as a 7th grader, doing the work that she did and keeping the ball around the plate. 6 innings pitched. She struck out 5 Lakers batters, only 2 earned runs, and only gave up 2 hits in the game. Hallie Price is going to be our quality player of the game, sponsored by Quality Toyota and Lake Country Graphics. So coming up on the schedule for the Otters, 2-game schedule, the doubleheader scheduled on Thursday at Alexandria for Fergus Falls coming up. So fun to be out here and then kick off the Otter season with the broadcast and the live stream on our Fergus Now app, where we won't have any softball or baseball coverage anymore in the month of April, but we'll be coming back with some games here back in May, and looking forward to cover the Otter softball and Otter baseball team. So that's going to do it for us here this afternoon and into the evening with this doubleheader. Otters fall in the first game to Detroit Lakes 20-4 in 5 innings. And they fall in Game 2 of the doubleheader here 9-5. Fergus falls 0-2 to open their season. Detroit Lakes improves to 2-1. So thanks so much for joining us here today as we sign off. This is Jason Retzloff, and for Dave Bishop, producing on the Fergus Now app, and signing off here from D Lagoon Park in Fergus Falls. And we thank you for listening to Otter Softball, streaming on the Fergus Now app and right here on Channel 977.
Thank you for joining us for a special KBRFradio.com video streaming production. Tonight's game is proudly brought to you by Otter Tail Power Company and your Otter Tail Power Company pregame show. Park Region and your Park Region scoreboard. Minnesota Motor Company and your Minnesota Motor Company halftime show. Lake Region Healthcare and your Lake Region Healthcare timeouts. Oxted Plumbing and Heating with your game time and temperature. Viking Cafe and Fergus Falls Apothecary with your keys to the game. Olson Oil Card Express and your Olson Oil Card Express postgame show. Quality Toyota and your Quality Toyota player of the game. Nelson Auto Center and your Nelson starting lineups. Otter Tail County AIS Task Force. Liberty Business Systems. Service Food of Fergus Falls Monument. Orthopedic Sports and Physical Therapy Incorporated. Otter Tail Coaches and FM Bank of Fergus Falls.